All right, good morning. We're going to start a little early. I am recording this, so anyone that's not here will have it. So, uh, hello, Trump. We talk about it consistently that with a single move or tweet, whatever, you could change the market complex very quickly, and so that's exactly what we got happening. Uh, You know, I'm wondering if this wasn't known back when SPY was creating those double outside bars, that this was coming by the macro markets. I'm gonna suggest that they did, and that's what creates those. So double outside bars, always something that makes me start hedging like crazy. I just and shrink down, right? Shrink down was trading pretty openly, and then was kind of very, very slow to take additional trades. So, here we are with a news event going to impact the market. And, Oklo looks great. I want Oklo to hold up here. We needed to hold up because remember yesterday I said I sold a bunch of naked puts because of the flag on that pattern showing a breakout. And I didn't want to add any more to shares. And so I took a bunch of naked puts. Well, I'm going to close those out simply because I don't know how deep this will go. Or do we have tariff fatigue and this is going to blow over and this is a buying opportunity? Or is this going to start a cycle? And, and the thing about it is it's only 8 days notice. So it's not like in 30 days or 90 days, et cetera. There was no notice on this and into a Memorial Day weekend. So let's just talk real quick about the complexity of everything, because what you have is this announcement happening on a Friday going into Memorial Day weekend, which is traditionally a very low volume period between, after the opening 60 to 90 minutes through Tuesday late afternoon. Usually it's very low volume. What does that mean? Well, if that's the case, then do we hit a status quo level and we kind of hold at that level? Or do bears, sensing an opportunity, come with some volume selling to drive through some key technicals? And so that, these are things that I'm thinking about when I saw the break and thinking back through my notes on historical narratives of Memorial Day weekend. So I don't think this changes the overall trend in mind that a bottom has been put in. And that's my personal feeling on the matter. You guys knew my bias was down, but I was like, I'm trading price action, right? So bias down, I could ignore. I take the 540 SPY puts, and already had the 420 puts out to July. So I just layered. That's a second layer of puts that I put on because of the double outside bar. And so those are going to be singing this morning, right? Going to clean up a good chunk of that, and it'll be great gains. And as long as Oklo holds up here, stinks for Apple because went from, could have gotten out from a 52-cent buy at 42, and instead decided to roll out to next Friday, and did half of them at the double the price, right? They were double the price. So I only did half of them, but then it came back down some. So I went back to my full 30 position there. So went from 10 to 30 on that. So, okay, thank you, Trump. you got me on that one. And pins, same thing. You know, I don't know where pins is right now, but I mean, yeah, technicals be darned, right? So the good news here on pins, not for current positions, is that you've got a gap fill and then the secondary gaps down here somewhere. But look, they beat soundly. And so at some point, I'm going to turn into shares back on this. And so I'll be watching that closely. Now, looking at SPY, you know where we came, right? We came right to Model T of the gap. That's exactly where we dropped to. So something that's been our low. Okay, low of the morning, and trying to bounce, recover here. Again, we'll need to watch and see what happens here, and we'll see. Let's see, what'd you buy? 45s. If there's not available inventory, then they won't fill a short order, Warren. So that tells you that there's a lot of shorts out there, which, you know, I had said that Oklo and IONQ both were two of the heaviest shorted stocks on IBKR. So that would figure that would roll over into, you know, virtually everywhere probably is short. You probably had a lot of shorts. Well, that creates the IONQ yesterday as they got squeezed. I mean, they got absolutely torched, which is why, knowing that, I decided to come in with those 42 puts. And then now the question is, did you leverage when we dropped below 42? Because that's where I took a 25% leverage. Now it's right there still. It's at 42.05. I did a 41.64 leverage trade, and you know, risk free, right? And got a whole week now. So if there's a secondary squeeze level that pushes this up, obviously I'm going to take some of these off the table at the open if we open anywhere near this 42, and then see, you know, I think it would come lower if the markets come lower. So might get a dreaded H here. We'll see if this dreaded HM. You know, Chris, in terms of going into puts now, you know, you got Model T sitting there on SPY of the wave. So I always hate trying to discuss something that I'm going to be selling that you should be buying, right? I'm going to be taking a chunk off. So yeah, so you want to do these when you get that double outside bar. I know I kept mentioning them. I kept talking 540 SPY puts over and over, that I'm in those. I trimmed some out. I would add back when we bounce back up. Fortunately, I added some at the end of the day yesterday on that bounce move back up, but not full. I did about a third of what I had sold of that. So, you know, I'm sitting on 62 of those 540 puts right now, and I'm going to clear out 32 of them at the open, and sit on 30 because I've got 100 of the 420 puts. And that's my fail safe of the market if it does turn over completely. But no, I don't think right now, I don't think I would recommend, you know, I wouldn't suggest looking at SPY puts here unless you lose that Model T, and there's volume behind it. So I don't know if it's going to be a blessing or a curse that we don't have volume generally on days like today. You know, it could be a blessing in that you won't get a lot of massive selling other than retail. and then they can only impact it so much, and there'll probably be automatic buy programs by the institutions if that's the case. So I would watch for major volume spikes that go nowhere on the downside. So if you see a massive down volume spike and stock does not react to it negatively, I would look at that as a potential buy zone for the stock, and then just watch that zone then as your regulator. So that's kind of how, I mean, this is going to create opportunities, right? We're going to end up now with a bunch of opportunities. And, you know, we talked about all those wedges, and, you know, that's how we kind of ended the day yesterday with SPY. Doesn't look good, right? It's like, look, when you have this wedge, you should not be bullish. And I kept saying that, that you've got to be aware of that, and it could just clean up and then be fine. But that's more than a cleanup, right there. Okay, that's a little more than a cleanup. So that, but again, it's cycle news driven. Obviously, big money knew about it, and you know, there's nothing we're ever going to be able to do. We could complain all day; it does no good. All you could do is trade price action, and when the charts are giving you price action, and then you know you want to take strategic puts. When you have a bearish wedge below an area that couldn't even reach Model T on the previous day. So those are the two main points I made about what we were seeing in the market. Even though it was showing a sign of stability of some sort, you still had a lower low and a lower high. That's not real. It never reached Model T of the previous day, and it was a bearish wedge. So, you know, now that, again, that can just get cleaned up and then go. If there was no Trump induced coma, that's probably what you would get. But now you've got this. And so what are you going to get? You're going to get another shot at Google for one thing. Okay. Now, remember all the shares I sold on Google? What did I do? I sold naked puts. So will I get assigned if we close below 168 next Friday? Yeah, I'll get assigned. Will I be happy to take those at 165.15? Absolutely. Give me all those shares back at 165.15. But since this has occurred, I'm probably going to be watching this very closely. We're below this level here where all this is touching. So if this reclaims, it's going to be resistance right now, kind of like ARM, right? It could turn into some short-term resistance if the markets sink some. Then that could happen. So IONQ just hit a new low, 41.36 on the morning. So just die. And that was a news-driven event too. I mean, it was bold talk by the CEO that it's going to be the NVIDIA of quantum computing. So that's news-driven. And watch Model T of that, right? For first level look. You're approaching it right now. Okay. So not a good time, but I kind of like this because you're going to get stress tests on a lot of stocks. You're going to see what Bull has now in terms of actual, you know, look, a lot of recent buyers of Bull are probably going to sell with any type of downward move. So you would expect them to do something downward to create that. Oklo's back above 43. That's excellent. Just hold above 43 into the open, please. So anyway, so we're going to see a good stress test here on Bull, and I like that. So what this does is it creates stress on the markets, and it'll force the institutions to show themselves. So right now, where this comes in, you see this kind of area here. that's where we came into. And if you look at the daily, get rid of this. Okay, you got the 20 EMA, then the 50. All of these were starting to sequence, right? You had the 9 crossing the 200. By the way, I bought some shares of ARM down at this base, and trying to peel off a little bit over $1 on them at 125.98. So we'll see if it works or not. And if it doesn't, you know what? It's okay. I'll just do a put call strategy on it, right? To me, I would do 100%. I don't need any more puts. In fact, I would just do a 100% covered call and say, give me $8 out to July, give me $10, whatever it would be at this level. And then if you want to give them to me down here, I'll take them, right? So I'm never abashed of when I get a good pullback to taking shares, because I have a strategy, right? And so, we talked about this ad nauseum on ARM, that, Chris or whoever it was that sold at that 135 plus, that was perfect. And then we kept watching this 130, 140. It would bump up above it and then come back down. And we looked way back and showed that area, 130, 140 up here. We showed that as being an area of resistance, okay, that we would have to be mindful of. And so, sure enough, that firmed up as hard resistance that it never even could get back then through yesterday. And then now you get the breakdown. So this is pretty much par for the course. No one should be surprised after all this. If you're surprised at this move after everything that I was giving you play-by-play on ARM, then you got a lot more to learn, okay? Because I was all over this one, okay? I was like, hey, if you want to do something short when it gets up there at that 130, 140, short it, okay? Or buy puts and take it that direction. So because it's obviously creating hard support that then if it breaks this, just get out. Okay. So, but then you get the drop. And again, it's news driven, but still the technicals were setting up for this. And now you got it. So how far will it drop? You've got a gap all the way down here. If I look at Model T of the wave, this wave here would be in the 125.23 zone. We've already crossed through that. Okay. So we're already through that, but we're trying to reclaim it. So I would watch that 125 area very closely. And in this wave here, 121.84, which is into my 122 that I particularly like, is 122 for ARM. So there you go. Let's see. I think it could last. I think it could last a while. I think that this is, let's see. This would be a heck of a sideways action. I don't think that this could hold as sideways, but I do think this area right through here. Yeah, James, that's my thesis and my whole trading plan right now is built around this strategy, okay? And that is some type of a Darvis box, like the world's longest and largest Darvis box, between wherever we ended up turning over. And I didn't know where that would exactly happen. The double outside bars didn't hurt any, but Now we'll see. We will find out in the next, week to 2 weeks, if there is a case to be made for long-term sideways action, or if something happens and we end up breaking through that, then you got to say, okay, I'm wrong about whatever, right? So that's just the way it goes. So, but you know what? Like I've said on that Tex Ags on there, you just don't let emotions cloud your judgment. Be a machine. Have your technical levels, and if a technical level gets lost to the downside and you have shares long, get out. If you don't have protection, then I would get out. If you have a trade and you get the breakdown, then take the loss. That's trading. I mean, especially in a news-driven world. Okay, we don't get to control, what Trump's going to tweet or what's going to happen policy-wise there. So it's a shame that he's surprised on a Friday going into Memorial Day weekend. I don't know who his advisor on that was, but they should be fired. Okay, that was like the dumbest thing you could do, because it's going to force everyone to liquidate. Retail, a lot of retail is going to liquidate because they don't have a trading plan. They don't have strategic puts, and so their only option is to sell, not knowing if this is the start of a downward cycle or not. So my suggestion is as strong as it's ever been. Don't make share trades if you're not prepared to have a hedge, and only take share trades with hedges, unless you're doing a James intraday. I'm buying this and then I'm going to sell. Okay. Yeah, Janlin, that's kind of the issue. It's generally a low volume after the open, right? You get the opening, whatever, and then you're going to have low volume. Generally, is that going to be the case again? And generally that low volume goes through Tuesday afternoon, maybe even into Wednesday, before any volume comes back in. That could be good or it could be bad. It could let the bears have free run without any resistance to send the markets down. Hey, Oklo's above 44, guys. This is good. So here's your levels. Everyone got them? Here, we'll do it again. Put it in the market info. There's your levels. Okay, obviously you got the kind of this is the gap fill, but sometimes the algorithm will just take the low available, right? Which would be right here, which we've got marked 570.31. So I would really watch that 570.31 into this gap, flash down, not reach the gap. That would be something to watch. Okay. IONQ's trying to base here at 41. I don't know about that. Okay, I'm going to turn this back on. And you see we're kind of Hing. Going to potential dreaded H here into the open. A stock that I would watch today in the midst of all of this turmoil is Medtronic. Watch MDT. It had two analysts raise the target price, one to 92, the other to 106. So you have a raise on that. So it's going to be interesting to see if it started with a little bit of a pop when those came out. It's dropped into a new low below yesterday right now. So that would be one that I would be watching for a reversal, and that could actually trade against the market using the down day in the macros because of this big drop, using this down day to actually buy. So I would watch volumes on this. You are having a volume crescendo into the drop. So buyers were obviously coming to meet sellers. I would watch this one, and then on a 30-minute, let's turn this off. So what we'd be looking for is a reversal from a low, reclaim. That would be a first clue, all right, is a reversal back up through. But then I would want to see somewhere into this range right here. I think it's going to go if it hits that 81.61. And I think your target would be for lottos would be 83.25 area. Okay. For MDT, this was a lotto suggestion, but we've been buying the January 2026 100 calls on MDT. So if you want leaps, watch and see. I wouldn't buy a leap this morning unless it breaks 81.61. Personally, I'd rather pay a little bit more. You wouldn't be paying much. You'd be paying less than my first buys, not about my second buys at that 81.61. But I would rather you do that, because then you have an opportunity to get an instant move. And it's always fun when you enter a leap to immediately get, positive movement for yourself. So otherwise, hope that it drops into this right into here. Okay. So somewhere you already hit it once down in here. So be watching to see if you get another, just because of the bad day, if the markets ignore the analyst and it shoots back down below 80, then that's where you can make a decision. Okay. And I mean, you're looking at long-term MDT here, right? So, worst case down here, it's 70, 68, I think was the low, something 68.84. All right. Other than that, yeah, I don't know if I would be unless you want to buy shares. And I'm not saying in bull. I'm just going to check on it. We should do this though on this. Hey, I don't know what they're going to do with bull. So if they run it above 1372, booyah, could get a nice continuation move. And then the bottoming action would be kind of confirmed, breaking up above that 1372, especially this zone here opens up into this 1450 and then 1512, 1613. Then it would be momentum at that point, and there's really no technical all the way up to there. So this would be your long-term trek on a stock. If this truly eventually bottoms and then breaks out, this is your long-term track on it that I'd be looking for. Okay. And then 1207 invites some downside. And of course, you have this wedge here. It's already broken, so really no point in talking about that. But this one's interesting to me, so I'm just interested to see how they go with it. All right, so ARM is 125.30. I should get filled. I see the markets are coming back up some apparently because I see my account is really starting to look good. What's going on? Or else the puts are all adding up. Yeah. Depends on where they open, Warren. If they open under 15 cents, I'm just going to hold them. You know, if I have something 30 cents or something like that, then I'll make a decision. Don't tell them that. They'll think that that's what I'm saying. Okay, I'm stopping, and I'll come back in so we can post this for Mooch.